Yeah, guys. I think this is a great one here. I want to talk when young people speaking. Sometimes I don't know her from nobody. I went to my clips and I seen her information and I seen a clip on her and I want to review her. And she's pretty young. I looked at some of her clips. She's a pretty youthful young person. Just have her ideals, just spewing ideals out. And some of the things she has a point on. Most of it just confusion. And not saying she's not a nice person. Not saying she's a good person. But let's get into this. The thing is, basic college versus trades. Her title is college and the trades are not substitutes. Uh, quite naturally, because you got one is technical based and one is theoretical based, and it's an institution, university, and college is a whole different level. It's way longer than the tech program. So there's inherently there difference. So let's get into this. I really think she has some points. I'm gonna stop a couple times to react to her points because she really got me to thinking. I'm like, wait a minute. A little bit about me. I'm a craftsman trade, which is a barber program, and I'm also a college educated person. I have 2 degrees. So yeah, quite naturally, I understand both the difference. I don't think she's at my level, but possibly she could be, but no. And some of the things she said that she considered trades are not trades. EMT is not a trade, but these systems now, depending on where you go, people with title stuff is trade. That's not a trade. That's a job. You know, what would be a trade would be a firefighter. That would be the trade. The EMT is not a it's not a trade. It's a program. It's a training you go to get become an EMT. That's not a trade. That is a job, a career. You could be an EMT for a career. You get training for that. That's not going to a technical trade. It has technical things you need to learn, but it's not a trade compared to carpentry, cement masonry, barbering. These are technical trades. What we do technical all day. Um, so something she said was just a little off, in my opinion, from my experience and my knowledge, see my skill set. But that's her community. That's where she's at in her mind. But she has some positive points. Let's get into what she had to say.
College, just go to a trade. You're not even in a trade. You're telling people to go into a trade. You're not even in a trade. As a matter of fact, some of the people telling you that have a college degree. Do you notice super rich people never tell their kids to go into a trade? You notice that? Super rich people always send their kids to college, and they always send their kids to prestigious colleges. My biggest issue, and this is completely
I need to stop right there. So another point I want to touch on right now. And right there, quite naturally, the average person with common sense and the average American will tell you, why would you send your kid if you have the ability to pay for your kid to go to a top university? Quite naturally, to put in a capitalist system to put your kid in the best position, ideally, and also they will be inheriting when you pass on what you have. So they're not in a position. College generally and technical is generally made for the trades, the professions. College and universities, professions, lawyer, doctor, dentist, engineering, top level, informed college theory, everything. Trade is for the crafts, plumbing, cement masonry, carpentry, barbering, mechanic, general job careers that give you a dice career. Now, if you're born into a rich family, quite naturally, you don't have to go through that. You don't have to have the experience. But they would like you to go to university and get knowledge to have a base understanding and open your mind and able to think freely. And you have the money to spend your kids to university. Send them to that. And because at the end of the day, uh, you're gonna inherit everything the bloodline offers you for the most part, as long as you're not lazy or something of that nature. But reality, do we get so that's a different setup. So she hasn't clarified that. She just make that statement and go on somewhere else. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's totally different. If you born into a filthy rich family, why would you send them to the trade unless that's something they wanted to do? That's something. It's like tinkering around. It's like you're going to inherit $100 million. Why do you want to become a mechanic? You get what I'm trying to say? Why would you become a mechanic when you finna inherit a mansion, $100 million? You don't have to work. You're a philanthropist. You're gonna be giving money to people. You're at the top of the food chain in the capitalist system. You're not at the bottom. So quite naturally, you will go to a prestige. What schools? 50,000, 60,000 a year. Boom. For the 4 years, $20-something thousand. Send them to Harvard. Send them to Yale. Send them to Princeton. It doesn't matter. They got the money to blow. They are rich. They are at the top of the food chain. Whole different ball game. Let's continue.
Aside from the like college is a scam thing, because that's fucking stupid. But my bigger issue with the whole you don't need to go to college, you can go to a trade shit is you're acting as if those two things are substitutes. They are not. They are completely different pathways that will lead you to completely different outcomes in life. It's not a matter of like, oh, you don't have to do one, just do the other. That's not how it works. You go into a trade, you become an EMT. Somebody else goes to college, they become a neurosurgeon. Not only are those two different jobs, those are two different lifestyles. Those are two completely different pathways in life.
She's totally right about that, but EMT is not a trade, but it's a job. But it's still comparatively, the trades, the crafts, they would give you a career, but not like the top level career. She is right to a certain extent, not all the way, because some, depending on what you go get your degree in, like you said, you become a medical doctor, engineer, mechanical, civil, electrical engineering, all types of engineers out there now, even in different science fields. So yes, she's quite natural. You're gonna make more money because you went to in academia and in the professions, you went to the top level of the profession. So you hit the top. Trades are general trades. You're working in a field, carpentry, mechanic, civil masonry, plumbing. You'll get well off, but it's not going to be the same as as a doctor, a cardiologist, or something of that nature, or a dentist, a full-fledged dentist that's running a whole dentist practice, coming out of school and hanging the shingle and hiring dental hygienists under him, dental assistants. He has a team. He's a dentist, the top of the food chain in dentistry, a DDS. So yes, she's right there, but then she's off a little bit because there's two different tracks, totally different. And so she's teetering between two, right and wrong, in my opinion, in my summation. Yes, these two different fields, and there's two different career that will lead in two different salary levels, financial levels. Yes, but that's a choice the person makes, and everybody is not ready to go to. Everybody's not college suited. A lot of people are not suited for college. Period. I've learned that over the years. Trades is better for them. That's an option. Some people look good with their hands, and they're not they're good thinking through their hands motions. They're good at their hands, tinkering stuff around, creating stuff, making stuff, putting the cabinet together, working on the engine, barbering, cutting hair, blending, seasoning. They're good at their hands. That's where it comes. That's where their skill set comes from. That's how they think. They think with ease. Other people think up here. They're thinkers, natural thinkers. You got people learn from thinking, hands-on, visual, auditorial. You got all types of learners. So yes, college is not for some, and some just don't want to go to college, and some that's all they want to do is go to university. But it's up to the individual.
The big one I hear is you can go to the trade, become an electrician, or you can go to college, become a fucking engineer, and make 3 times the amount as the highest earning electrician. You could go into a trade and learn HVAC and make a ton of money. Or you can go to college and become a fucking aerospace engineer. It's just, people speak about them as if the two can be replaced. They cannot. It's not a matter of just like, I don't want to go to college, so I'm just going to go into a trade. You need to understand the lifestyle you are signing up for. And I'm not saying that going into a trade is going to lead you to be in like a terrible life. You're going to live some horrible lifestyle. I'm not saying that. There are people in the trade who make good money. But it is also known that a lot of people who are in trades don't get paid enough. There's this fantasy that you're going to go into the trade and then just start making $100,000. Most people in trades don't make enough money. Most people in trades struggle to pay their bills. I've even heard this argument. You can go into a trade, start your own business, and then become a business owner. And you know what's going to happen? The guy who went to college for business is going to make even more money for you, buy you out, and then multiply the profits of your company and keep all that money for himself because he got the fucking degree in business and he knows what the fuck he's doing and you don't. I'm not saying that going into the trade is going to lead you to live a bad life. I'm not saying that. But you need to stop acting as if the trade is some substitute for college. It's not a fucking substitute. It's not like, oh, I don't have heavy cream, so I'll use half and half. That's not how it works. It's like, I don't have heavy cream, can I use oat milk? No, those two things are not substitutes. Those two things are vastly different from one another. You're going to get two completely different products. You cannot substitute them. In 20 years, you're going to go into a trade. You're going to probably have a very beautiful family. You're going to have been working for a very long time. You're going to be thinking about your upcoming retirement, all of your savings, all of the money you've made. Maybe you've been able to buy a house and you're going to be very happy with your life.
This is where I divert from her again. I divert from her. She's just young and she has some points, but this is where it becomes that what she's stating is a factor. It's based on the individual. I have a degree in business also, and I opened up in the past. I opened up my own business. I've seen both sides. I went through a 5-year apprenticeship program. See, I'm older, so it really comes down to the individual. Yes, that person in the school could do what she said. Got knowledge enough to go and deal and know how to work with corporate America and know how to leverage loans and rich people and know how to put a business plan together and proposal together and become successful and then be out by other people. Yes, that's a possibility. That is, you learn them corporate structures. But also, as a craftsman, a trade, you can learn the corporate structure as you go along in your field. You got to pick up the books, and then in your field, you'll meet people along the way that's in corporate America that become part of your team. It's if you could capture them people. And so it all comes down to the individual and the knowledge and the skill set and where they want to go in the future. Everybody in trade do not want to be rich. That's if you're making $80,000, $60,000, $100,000, and as you get along in trade, just by nutrition, the longer you stay in the field, the smarter you get, the faster you get, the more skillful you'll get, the more opportunity will come forward to you. And now you're consuming all of that benefit. You're not working for nobody. You're self-employed. So you will get up to that level and within 10, 15 years just by nutrition. You would get there. So yes, it's gonna take time, but you would get there. So but she's 15 years ago, 15 years probably over half of her life. So she's just talking from a youthful mind, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking from a 40-year experience. And so when you start, that's the difference. So I've seen both sides. I live both sides. But she's right to a certain extent, but then she's wrong and because it could be a difference. It really comes down to the individual and what their desires and what their self-motivation is and where they want to go. Everybody don't want to be rich. That's another thing she's not talking about. There's people that don't want to be rich, period. Point blank. They're not looking for money.
Hopefully. That is a beautiful thing. And that is something that's the max of what people want. There are people in this world who only want that. That's a beautiful thing. You should go for it. But then there are people who want in 20 years to have 2 kids, married, in Italy, working on their serve on a tennis court. That's not going to happen from the trades. That's going to happen from corporate, white collar, and you're going to get there through college. People want different things for their life, and people need to stop acting as if you can achieve both of those lifestyles, as if, not even both, as if you can achieve the tennis court in Italy through the trade. You can't. Pursue the path that is going to get you to the endpoint that you want for your life, but you need to identify what that endpoint is, and you need to commit to the path that's going to get you there. The trades and college are not substitutes.
She has a point, but she also diverted. Her point is scattered. Because she's talking with confidence and you're talking with sternness and directness, assertiveness, doesn't mean that makes it true. Well, yes, you can get there with the beach and everything through the trades. Yes, she don't know how much trades makes. She don't know how much the carpenter makes. She don't know how many clients the person got. You don't know their rotary. You don't know how much learners they go to the library. You don't have to go to college. You go to the library and learn and get knowledge. You'll build up, like I said, through time and in the craft. You can get there. You will get there. It's up to the individual. Now, it's people that don't want to be there. So I told her she's right to a certain extent, but she's wrong in the long term of things. That's because I just said she's young. She's learning. She's growing. Probably another 10 years, she'll probably have a whole different way of thinking about this. So, like I'm saying, she's not totally wrong. She has some. I feel she's incomplete. Yes, you will get there. Yes, you can. I know people that's millionaires that was mechanics, working on cars. I know guys that crossed over from working a general lot to, I mean, from the military to the a top brand like Mercedes Benz dealerships. Worked in there, had a team up in there, built up, did side work on his own, on her own. Got into exotic cars, international cars, making big money, because they desire was to be rich. Bought big houses, travel. These corporations are sending them around to travel because they're expert in their field after 20, 30 years doing this. So yes, this person is a millionaire. So you can get there if you stay focused in the trades, and be on the golf course and be amongst the millionaires. Yeah, you can, you will. That's your personal. So I divert from what she's saying. She's not totally wrong, but she's not totally right. She's incomplete, and I'm completing, furtherly completing what she's saying. Yes, you can, and you can substitute to a certain extent, to a certain level, and then from there you got to build on that level of what you want. So I'm not gonna let the negative spark stay there. I'm gonna turn it to a positive spark. Yes, you can, but it's up to the individual. It's up to the learner, the person that, and their desire and their goals and which direction they want to go in. So you can get there through academia. Everybody in academia don't get rich. You got humanities. You got all type of degrees. Everybody in the trades don't get rich. It's the individual. It all comes back onto the individual and what their total desires are. Have a, have a nice day. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe.